And it's all yours.
Hey. All right. It is the first That's What She Pled episode of 2023. Welcome, everybody. This is Christina Goldberg. I'm here with my law partner, Julie Lurson, and our very special guest we will introduce in just a couple of minutes. We are Happy New Year. It's a new day. It's a new year, new start, new you.
Beginnings.
Absolutely. I'm sure we
Who
all
knew?
have. Who knew? I hoped we'd hit 2023. Do you remember the year 2000? Y2K?
Yes.
And they thought all the computers were going to explode and everybody lost their minds. And there are probably people listening to this that were not alive.
I had a client who was
then.
moving to like the hills of Tennessee and going to live in like a cave in the mountains. Something crazy.
To look back, oh gosh, I wish I had saved the newspapers. Because to look back at that now, oh, look, we have another friend joining.
We have a visitor.
Fantastic. So I'm going to let Julie introduce our absolutely amazing guest today. This is going to be a fun episode in light of the new year. We thought this is the perfect person to bring on and chat with us today.
Absolutely. So our guest is Mary Schrank. Mary is a health and wellness coach. She has lots of clients and they're spread all over the place. And consequently, she has become, I guess, a social She's shaking her head at me. I don't know why.
I'm shaking my head at my husband. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All right. It's like she's a social influencer. In other words, she does a lot of her work through social media. She has a huge following on Instagram, like 40,000, I think. But with the pandemic, her business blew up on TikTok. And she's got something approximating 10 times that, 400,000 if last check is right. She's shaking her head. She's shaking her head at me this time, folks. Anyway, and she's a mom. She's a wife. She's
a dog mom.
She's a dog mom. She's a people mom. She's about to be a grand people mom, which is crazy.
Gosh.
I know. She's a sister-in-law. Her favorite sister-in-law happens to be Julie Schrank Lurson. So we're related. She's married to my brother. And so it's a thrill to have her join us. It's obvious that I am a fan of hers. I may be a little biased, but I'm pretty sure that by the end of this podcast, people will, be on my team for legitimate, objective reasons. So anyway, welcome, Mary.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Here, I thought I was the outlaw, and you just said that you actually kind of like me. That makes my heart laugh huge.
That's the joke,
That's the joke.
The people who married into the family are the outlaws. So, we have
we're okay with that.
Steps, blood, whatever. Anyway,
it's all good. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. I'm honored you asked me. Thank you so much.
Well, let's just talk a little bit about how you got into health and wellness coaching and how you've managed to be so successful and what's your secret, Mary?
Oh, secrets, lots of secrets. So I spent 23 years as a corporate executive, the whole corporate America thing, climbed the ladder, went to college, got a degree in health service management, spent most of my adult life, most of my career on the healthcare side. And now I'm on the wellness side of healthcare, if you will. And so if you would have asked me 23 years ago or 40 years ago, if I thought I was going to be a health and wellness coach, I would have probably laughed. I did not have any expectation that this is the path God would take me on, but it is. And so Julie's actually a part of my story. So I spent most of my adult life, Julie and her brother and their sisters grew up what they like to call on a diet. Their father being a cardiologist, my father-in-law. And I believe Paul always says we bought skim milk when you had to get it from the pharmacy. And so I did not grow up quite in an environment like that. Wonderful parents. We had food on the table, but it was more of a Mrs. Paul's fish sticks and mac and cheese kind of dinner versus a skim milk from the pharmacy. dinner. And so I spent I was skinny as a rail in high school, and then I gained about 30 pounds my first 3 months in college.
30.
30 in 3 months.
Oh.
And I win a record for that, I think. So anyway, it was a very
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It wasn't any fun, and it was an extremely unhealthy time in my life. But anyway, I spent most of my adult life yo-yoing, on the wagon, off the wagon. I would do good for a while, workouts, nutrition, and then fall off the wagon. And I very clearly remember having many conversations with my wonderful SIL, Julie, because I was perplexed that people had consistency with healthy habits. I didn't understand that. It was such a foreign thing to me because I yo-yoed so bad and called myself a chronic yo-yoer. And I would ask Julie and others who I would see very consistent, how do you do that? Like, what am I doing wrong? And no fault to theirs, but they would more or less answer me by saying, well, you have to work out and eat healthy. Yep. I'm well aware. I just can't seem to figure out how to do it without falling off the wagon. So, there I was rolling through life. I was in this corporate America, career for most of it. And then for 2 years, it's a God thing. For 2 years, I ran a gym, which was random, and it's a long story, a whole nother podcast, but I'm running a gym. I hire one of our personal trainers, who was the Jillian Michaels of the trainers. I wanted the hardcore because I thought that I could outwork out a poor diet. So here she was working me out. Long story short, she introduces me to a wellness system, a full wellness system that's home-based. And I said, you're going to lose me as a client. This makes no sense. And she said, it will work for you. I know it will, because it includes nutrition and accountability. And those are the things that you need. So the long and short of it is, I haven't stepped foot in the gym since that day. So that's 14 years ago that she introduced me to this home-based wellness system. And again, because it included nutrition, which was a very critical component. We know one of the most critical components, but bigger than that, it included accountability. And for someone who's a chronic yo-yoer and knows what to do, but keeps falling off, having someone who notices and cares when you're not showing up and respectfully taps you on the shoulder to keep you on that wagon is exactly why I'm still here to talk about it today. So that happened in 2008. In 2012, I find out that I have an opportunity to partner with this company of this wellness system, and I can pay it forward. And I can help other women who are like me, who are chronic yo-yoers. And I was like, oh, wow, well, that would be awesome. And so, I just kind of did it for fun. I was like, this is cool. I'll talk about it. And if I can help them, I can help them. If not, so I would do it on my lunch break. I had just rolled in to Facebook from MySpace. Remember that?
Dating
I know.
yourself.
God, we're so old.
We
And,
we are not.
We're not old. We're growing wiser. And so I had like 331 friends on Facebook. That's it. There was no Instagram. I had no TikTok. There was none of those things. And I just started reaching out and saying, hey, I don't know if you're like me, you struggle with this thing, but I did, and I found this. And if I can help you in any way, let me know. And people were incredibly responsive. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I should do more than just an hour lunch break. So I stopped watching reality television and trust and believe that the housewives are still fighting all these years later. I missed nothing. So I just started working some of this business at night, and it was growing and it was growing and it was growing. So I spent 3 years building it part-time with an incredibly supportive husband who many times said, just leave your corporate job. Because I was back at corporate by that time. Leave and do this full time. He was incredibly supportive. But pride kicks in, and I went to college. I have a degree. I got the corner office. I got the title. I got all the things. None of that mattered because I had this incredible calling from God that I really felt like this is what I'm supposed to be doing, clearly. And so 3 years it took, and I finally exited Stage Right.
Yeah.
And started doing it full time. That's
kind of. By the way, we've known each other for over 20 years. She's always been amazing, positive and very uplifting, beautiful inside and out. And I don't know, I have no conscious memory of feeling like you were coming to me looking for guidance and I was imparting some wisdom on you. It was
You
very
were.
organic.
But you were, and you weren't, it wasn't necessarily, as I said, it wasn't necessarily your words. It was just this lifestyle that I so admired, that it wasn't perfect, but she was very routinely day in and day out making good choices. And actually, interestingly enough, as a coach, 10 years into this business now, it has become my mantra. It has become my brand that I live life in moderation. I'm actually in the process of writing a book called Eat the Effing Pizza. We can talk about that another time. And I will probably be the only health and wellness professional that has a book that doesn't teach you how to do life perfect, that says, hey, listen, the only way this is sustainable forever is if you live life in moderation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And eat the effing pizza. And so the point is that the reason why I personally felt like, from a personal perspective, not my business, that I was failing, if you will, finding this consistency, is as soon as things weren't perfect, I just threw my hands up and said, well, if I can't do it perfect, I shouldn't do anything. And that was where it was wrong, And so when I personally realized, hey, as long as you're eating about 85% clean and moving your body, you're healthy and you're going to do well, and that's sustainable forever. So that's what I did for myself. And that's what I do for my Lisa. My Lisa is my ideal client. She's my avatar. So if I say Lisa is a very common name in the 80s. And I graduated high school in 89. I'm Gen X, bleed neon, all of it. So Lisa is I talk to Lisa every day. We'll talk about that. I know you have questions about how I built the social. Taking it from 331 friends on Facebook to over, 450,000 across all platforms.
Crazy.
Is something, not something that happens with you just hanging out. It's something that there's two things. You would ask me, how do you do that? I don't know if I'm jumping ahead, Julie.
You're fine.
Okay.
Talk as it comes.
So who I was 10 years ago when I started this business, and how I was building then, and how I was new to social media. I told you I came off MySpace into Facebook. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea what I was doing. I came from a corporate, operations role to build a business on social media. But what you quickly find out is, the more authentic you are, and the more you are just your most authentic self, the more Lisa is connected to you, and the more she's attracted to you. It's when we're trying to be the perfect Instagram picture or all these things that it's not relatable, and nobody wants that, right?
Well, you can't be all things to all people. I mean,
oh no,
because then you're just going to
absolutely
be
not.
a chameleon, and they're kind of boring.
Absolutely. I was just talking to my team on our team call, and I said, if you decide to ask someone to give you feedback on your social media content, you need to make sure you're asking your Lisa. Don't ask your spouse or your cousin, who is not your ideal client, to give you feedback, because you're not talking to them. You're talking to her. And my whole business did a major 180 the day I realized that. The day I stopped worrying about what everybody thought. I knew my sister-in-laws were in the corner giggling at my crazy, most authentic self. But I knew Lisa absolutely loved it. And the more energy I put out there, the more she wanted to be in my presence. And so when I talk every day, when I wake up, I'm brushing my teeth, and the thing that goes through my head is, what is she struggling with today? And how can I help her? Some days it might be just teaching her how to get her water consumption in. Some days it's make her laugh. I found that out through TikTok. Some days it's to help her through menopause, because we're going through menopause right now. And so Lisa has evolved over 10 years. I wasn't in menopause 10 years ago, and I was in my 40s, and I still had a son in the house. I've evolved into an empty nester, going to be a grandma, going through menopause. And guess what? So is Lisa. So as my life changes, hers does too. And so I speak to her about all of these things. And in addition to knowing exactly who she is, literally down to the thread of her genes, and not worrying about anybody else, not worrying that I'm going to, when we try to speak to everyone, we speak to no one. And so I know I'm alienating big groups of people that could use this wellness system. And I'm happy to help anybody who wants me to help them, but I still speak directly to her. And so when I write my content, I don't say, hey, everyone, or, I'm there, I say she, all right. And I speak directly to her in a singular, not in a plural, because I want her to read it and go, oh my God, she's talking right to me. So that was a big pivot for me when I really learned that. And second was knowing that you have to be intentional every single day on social media to go find her and follow her and engage with her on her content and talk to her. And so she comes and follows you back. So you're bringing them in, you're bringing them in. So it sounds crazy, but every single day, that is something that's on my to-do list. I go and find 25 Lisas, I follow her, and I start conversations with her. And so that builds the audience. And that is how you get to over 450,000, people that are, because at the end of the day, if I'm going to write content and I'm going to help her and change her life and impact her life in a positive way, she's got to be able to see it. And the only way she's going to see it is if I go find her and she's following me. So that is how this is how I grew the audience. And then it's just a very intentional, and it really boils down to community. I don't call my followers. I genuinely call them friends. We go live together. We talk, we cry, we laugh, we do all of these things. Julie's probably like, if she asked me to vote for this stupid thing one more time, my followers, I
have been a faithful voter.
Very faithful voter. Very faithful voter. My followers, my friends nominated me for what's called a Cheer Choice Award. It's a company called Spread the Cheer USA, and they award positive creators on social media for creating positive content. And so anyway, they nominated me for this. I didn't put my name in there. And I just think it's incredible. So we built a community, and that I can't be the community. So I tell them all the time, I'm like, this nomination is a we thing, not a me thing. I can create content all day long and I can go live, but if you don't engage with me, if you don't enjoy what I'm putting out there, it means absolutely nothing. So the community is so strong. And the reason, going back to TikTok, that happened during the pandemic. March the 6th of 2020 is when my first video went up on TikTok, which a lot of people entered in then because we were bored. We were bored in the house and in the house bored. If you know TikTok, you know what that means. But anyway, it was terrible. I didn't know what I was doing. I put up some silly video. They all look stupid at the beginning, and because you don't know what you're doing. And then all of a sudden I go on to the main feed and I see these people taking audio clips of comedians, and they were acting out, doing these lip syncs to these. And I'm like, what? Why? I have a really good sense of humor. I love comedy. I love everything. And I was like, oh my God. So I started doing this and dressing up in all these characters and doing all this thing. And one of the questions you asked me is, was I ever in theater? No, none of it.
You should have been. She's very entertaining. She's quite good at it.
Well, I'm very animated. I clearly would have no Botox because if I did, you wouldn't see the animation in my face. Not that there's anything wrong with Botox, I'm just saying. And so I'm very animated and I'm very dramatic. And so that fed those cups. I was like, oh, drama? Yeah. Right. And so it was unhealthy drama, I should say. I'm not an unhealthy drama person, but I started doing this and I remember the response was incredible. I mean, it was like hundreds of thousands of views on these crazy comedy videos. And I'm like, this is crazy. So I was blocking out time every day in my business schedule to create this content. And one day I remember thinking to myself, like, get back to work. What the heck are you doing? You're in the kitchen with some stupid shirt and hat on, making some. And then I realized that
that is your work.
That Lisa has a sense of humor. And Lisa was coming to my yard. She was coming in front of me because she connected with that part of me. And so if there's any advice I have to people building a business online is that please, with all things holy, don't make all of your content just what your business is. Let people see all the sides of who you are. And
So Lisa's multidimensional, and Lisa's been growing as you and aging in the best way possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you have a little bit of everything that you offer, at least online. I mean, what's for dinner?
Yeah. What's for dinner?
Some of your workout, how you start your day.
Yeah.
How did you, I guess, how did you get to your Lisa? Like, did you have somebody coaching you or like, what's the story about, because you've really refined your avatar, I feel like, over the years.
Well, when you go to business, and I've spent thousands of dollars on business training, online business training specifically, because that's what I do. And listen, this business can be built locally, but I have a much larger audience if I build online, and a whole lot more people I can help. One of the first things any good business mentor will tell you is know your avatar. Know your avatar. You guys have heard that a gazillion times. Know your avatar. And if there's one thing, major kudos to you guys, because you ladies, Paul and I absolutely love your brand. We love your message and just all of it. Like you're Lisa, you know who she is, you know it. And so for 10 years, it was about these little exercises where you write it down and you write it down. But she was too broad, right? She was female. Yeah. She was maybe my age. Okay, whatever. Right. When I tell you that I got down to the granular, down to the thread of her jeans of Lisa, I mean, she had Jordache jeans with the horse on the fifth pocket with the raw edge bottom. I could go on and on with you. She loves, 80s rock bands. Motley Crue's her favorite. By the way, my community has named themselves Mary's Crew, like Motley Crue, like with the two little dots above the E's. And I'm gonna when I tell you, they send me stuff to my PO box. It's got Mary's Crew all over. This is community, right?
It really is.
It's incredible. It's incredible. And so we, the more you just know who she is, and here's the thing, it's easy to figure out who she is because you just put a mirror in front of your face. She's me. She's me, and she and she needs me, and I know that sounds whatever it sounds, but I know she needs me, and I know I can change her life. And when you get to that level of confidence that not everybody wants to do a home-based workout program, and not everybody, I get that, but Lisa does, and she's going to like it, and it's going to change her life. And so as far as the content goes, honestly, if you were to look at my strategy and content creation calendar, there are a lot less days that I post about the actual business than I do about me, because yes, I need to pepper in,
you don't want to hit anybody over the head with upselling. Overselling.
It's annoying. It's terribly annoying. And so there are ways to actually still let her see that I'm a health and wellness professional without saying, I did this perfect workout and here's all my little containers on Sunday and I spent 5 hours meal prepping and filled them all up with chicken and broccoli. I mean, there's just other ways to go about it. You may always see me with a water bottle in my hand. My morning video, I have workout clothes on. When I go live, it's post-workout on purpose because I'm still wearing my workout clothes. And we may only listen to 80s rock bands and things like that, but everybody knows I just finished working out. So there's ways and they ask me tons of questions about nutrition and fitness and things like that, but we pepper it in to the fun other stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I see parallels for Christy and me. Obviously, in the injury business, we're not going to have, you hope you never need us.
Right.
But if you do need us, you hope it's only once. So, we don't have a constant following, but we're in a field where there's lots of competition and we don't worry, and we're not looking over our shoulder at what, our neighbors are doing and how they're doing it. We're not going to be for everybody. So we put out there what's important to us, what we want our clients to feel and understand, and what we will give them.
Mhm.
and then they come to us because that's what they're looking for. And they're almost always extremely grateful and appreciative at the end because we took the
Yeah.
time. You know, we said
Yeah.
what we wanted to do. And,
Right.
you know,
Just
so then hopefully
very-
that builds at least the word of mouth community that then begets, you know,
Mhm.
more business.
Right. Just very authentically. And it's taken, and Mary, you know, it's an evolution, and it's taken it's taken a really long time for Julie and I to go from what is expected of us
Right.
to nope, this is just who we are. And it's been through multiple iterations of commercials, social media presence, all of that. And
Some
the
trial
social
and
media
error.
aspect, I mean, that's a full-time job in and of itself. So right now we're running into, okay, we are the practitioners, but there's also this opportunity to be on social media and kind of have that, but it's a full-time job anyway. But
Oh yeah.
to decide, okay, we're gonna be Julie and Christy. And it's funny, I don't know we'll have to come up with avatars, Julie.
Yeah.
I don't know what they'll be, but to be Julie and Christy, even in just the most recent commercials that we recorded that haven't been released yet, we literally sat on a couch I'm in jeans and we're just hanging out on a couch
Shooting
and
the shit.
having discussions about the funny, like I'm in my robe walking my dog, no makeup on, like it's 7 a.m. and my neighbor's like, hey, I've got a question. Okay. But here's who we are. Clients call me Christy and
Mhm.
can call here and get me directly, and clients, Jules. And it's just being who we are and being super authentic. And yeah, we happen to be attorneys, but we're just here, and
You know
being
what?
okay with that.
I will be so excited to see what happens with your business because that is so relatable, and here's the thing, you guys have probably figured this out, is it's a balance of the two. So you want people to realize that you're a serious professional and you will be a good
Yes.
attorney for them.
Right.
And the same thing with me. It's like, okay, so I do all these crazy skits and it's all this silly stuff, but I can help you with your health and wellness, which is a very serious thing. Like I
Yeah.
know nutrition. I'm not a nutritionist, but I've had enough education that I understand it, enough experience. And I know I'm a personal trainer. I have a certification, but I understand all this. But yet, let me be silly for you so that you have this relatability to me. So I'm
Right.
super excited about these commercials and the way you guys went about that. That's fantastic. Especially
Thank you.
because I love a couple things you said, but especially because your competition's not doing that per se, right? And so they're all
Not
stiff
yet.
and serious.
Watch.
And I know,
Watch what
right?
happens.
That's all
We'll
right. You can
see.
give us-
Right.
I think we have a distinct advantage being, women in a field that has historically and continues to be largely male
Yes.
dominated and mostly
Mhm.
white men. And so,
No, I
And there's
think
nothing
that's
wrong with
fantastic.
that.
nothing
We're
wrong
not
with
any
any
better.
of
We're
that.
not any
It's
worse. Lest you make a phone call to our office and let us know exactly what you think of us, which has been known to happen, and that's perfectly fine. We actually engage with those people. We call back, we email
It's-
back, and we
it's
say,
fun.
please let us know.
I don't know
Please
if
let
you've
us
ever
know
had
what
that
it is that's offending
experience.
you. Yeah. Have you had, actually, good question. Have you had somebody reach out and say, you're just awful?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, just this morning. Do you want me to tell you about? I listen. That's the other thing is you got 450,000 people that are following you on social media. Don't think for 1 second they all like you, right? I mean, I could tell you. I mean, I have to say, I'm incredibly blessed that the trolls and the haters, they're there, but they're not. It's not as rampant as for some creators that are out there. For some creators, they actually have to exit and take a breather because
It's too
they
stressful.
two things. Number one, it's so much of it. Number one. And number two, they already have challenges with mental health to a certain degree, which is so rampant. And so they can't handle it.
Yeah.
You have to, I have an extremely strong faith. And I'm also a very confident person. And it takes a while. You get hit hard and you're like, what the heck? You don't like my eyebrows? What's wrong with my eyebrow? I mean, it goes on and on and on. I mean, they'll come after your family and this and that and things like that. But anyway, you just and I tell my moderators when we're on a live, I'm like, do not immediately block the trolls because, and again, this comes from faith and my belief system. we love on the haters. Okay. It's not an easy thing to do. I'm well aware of it, but we do what we can to say, you have to understand that hurt people,
I was
Mhm.
just
or
gonna
they at
say
least
that.
try. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's the people that try to understand, why would you say something so mean? Don't try to get in their head. They're hurting. They got situations. So what we should really be doing is praying for them and wishing them the best. So there have been many times on a live where a troll will come in and come immediately after me. Oh, old woman, grandma. I mean, you go on and on, right? And so I'm like, oh my gosh, hey, I see you, or whatever. And we'll turn them around before the end of the live. They're friends.
Oh,
They
that's
come
awesome.
on lives on. It doesn't happen all the time, but it definitely happens. But it's not easy to do. So absolutely that stuff is out there. But again, going back to what I said earlier, it's noise.
Mhm.
And Lisa's in there. And so I mentor a team of coaches who are also building their online business. So I'm a business mentor in addition to helping customers with their wellness system. And so at the beginning, when you're new to an online business, and I have to tell my team this all the time, it takes a while to build that muscle, but they're like, what do you do about the creepers? I'm like, you don't worry about them. You have a block button. If you want to block them, but don't worry about it. It's just noise. You're wasting energy.
Energy. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
Oh, what's your craziest? Like, do you
I
have a
know.
crazy, funny, weird?
Oh, when I saw that question. Okay. Well, the people that want to buy my dirty socks is probably the weirdest thing that I've ever come across. And
Oh,
I was
foot
talking
fetish.
it's the weirdest thing ever. I could go on and on. I mean, I've received full videos. I'll just leave it at that. They have a beginning, a middle, and an end to them. Yeah, we'll just
This
leave it
isn't
at that.
OnlyFans, people.
I think we got the wrong chick. But the sock thing is really funny, and I was just deleting, blocking. And then one day through casual conversation with Paula, I'm like, he was sitting in the living room and one came up and he's like, don't delete that. Ask him how much you're paying for them socks. He's like, I'll send them mine.
I'll overnight them.
So I thought, let me just mess with this person. I was like, well, how much do you want to pay me? And it was so hilarious. But anyway, I did not sell my socks.
All right,
So
good.
OnlyFans, what are your thoughts? Now, let's not
No,
go there.
I
Oh
don't.
my
Mary
gosh.
Schrank's socks on eBay.
Not a
Well,
brand.
watch. That's going to be the newest watch. It'll be the newest thing. So we'll go from
Well-
TikTok now to everybody has this, and I'm going to sell my nail clippings on OnlyFans because people are nuts, right?
Well,
Gosh.
you do know about the girl that is a multimillionaire selling her farts in a jar. I'm sure you heard of
Yes,
her.
I saw
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Oh, I've missed that.
Yes.
Real. It's
You
real.
can sell anything. Oh my.
Mhm. It's ridiculous.
Oh
But
my gosh.
at some point, you have to ask yourself, like, how's this working for you and your
Yeah.
head and your,
Like
Right.
back to the Simon
brand?
Sinek. What's your why?
Right.
Can you imagine what is the why
Okay.
there?
Hmm.
Well, that's the hardest thing too. Well, and I'm sure I have a 15-year-old son who sort of he's seeing all of this, get rich quick. And here's how you do no work, but you can get engaged in these things and suddenly have all of the money. And it's just that it's frustrating to me because there's that I want to teach him there's value to hard work, and there's oh, you don't like going to your job at the grocery store because you don't like being in deli. Well, then climb, then do something about it rather than complain about it. But it's so difficult because online, all you're seeing is these people who are just
Seemingly.
right. Exactly. Because online, that's what you see is you're being presented with all these great, excellent schemes. And I swear it's a day in, day out conversation that is not real.
Well, I would love the opportunity to fill his head, and maybe he can listen to this, but I will tell you that I might not be doing some of that weird extreme stuff, but even the chick selling her farts, she still has to market herself every single day. She still has to package that up, put it in the mail. Like, there's hard work to online being an influencer. Okay.
Exactly.
So because here's the thing. Example, Kiss, the rock band,
Right.
paid me $1,000 to make a 30-second video with some merch for their end of the world tour. Okay. I was like, oh, hello. Yes. So anyway, I do the video. Well, one and done. Like, I got to go get another video. Like, you know, you may be an influencer, but like once you create the content for that brand and you get that money for that video, you
Right.
still have to have other brand deals and you still have to get out there and hustle. So
Right.
it may look all glamorous, but there's all this stuff that's happening in the background, all this admin stuff in order for you to stay relevant, in order for you to people even reach out to you to want you to represent their things or whatever. It's every day.
I wonder what
And
the
you
fart-
can't not have content. You can't not, I can't not
What
have
is Act
content,
2 for the fart girl?
right?
Gross. Just no.
Yeah. All right. Let's
Yeah.
not go there.
Oh
All
my
right. Well,
gosh.
listen, Mary,
Yes.
what is your proudest
Mm.
moment? I have a sense of where this will go, but
Well, I mean, the obvious in health and in this health and wellness space is, you know, at the beginning 10 years ago when I decided to, well, wonder what this could do if I pay it forward. It was like, oh, I'll help somebody start workouts and a nutrition. You know, you see it surface level. And some of my clients, many of my clients from 10 years ago are still with me today. Because again, you have to remember, I don't do temporary anything. I don't
Yeah.
do 30-day groups. I don't do, and because I need to know what you're going to do on day 31, and so do you. So I don't do, everything is about your forever plan. And so I have clients 8, 9, 10 years in with me. The thing that makes me, I just never dreamt that this would ever happen. And now it happens like a lot. It used to, I'd get 1 or 2, and now it's like almost daily, are the messages that I've changed someone's life. I mean, that I've
It's pretty
got
powerful.
messages.
Yeah.
I've got messages that I've prevented someone from committing suicide, that just getting all my
Wow.
lives and my energy and my joy and my faith. And I'm like, so when I feel, you know, you know, I do a little like pre-workout thing. I just play a jam, play a song, make my pre-workout. It's not a big deal. It's very casual. If I don't do it, the number of messages I get for, I needed you. I needed your energy this morning. Like, I needed your energy. You know, I need you to help me with this energy thing. And so that sharing of this God-given, very positive, I understand, which can be incredibly annoying, but this joy that I've been given for me to share it, I'm watching what it is doing to people. There's nothing that compares to that feeling when they tell me that it's changed, that just that small thing. Then there's the whole wellness system, you know, and if I get someone going with it and it truly helps them to stop being a chronic yo-yoer, you know, so that's, I guess, kind of the obvious, you know, being nominated for this award. I was just so blown away. I mean, I know
She's so
450,000.
you're amazingly humble. I mean, I think
Oh,
a
you're
lot of
sweet.
people with your success and with some of these stories would turn into full-blown narcissistic egomaniacs or something. I don't know.
Thank
Your
you.
feet
I
are
was
still on the
raised
ground.
very
And
different.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
I was
I
raised very
know.
different.
But
So the you know, but I'm still, you know, 450,000 followers is a lot of followers. I don't undermine that, but I'm still a very small fish in a huge pond when it comes to social media. There are people with millions and millions and millions of followers. So the fact that somehow or another I'm sitting in the top 5 for the health and fitness category of a Cheer Choice, like what? So it really just goes back to, and this for you guys too, is they're listening. You know, they people may not hit the like button. They might not type out a comment. They might not get on my lives ever, but they're listening. And I have people that DM me that'll say, I've been following you for years and I'm just now reaching out to you. And I'm like, I don't even recognize the name because they've never liked or commented, you know? So it's just a reminder that stop looking at all the numbers. They're fun. I get it. It's cool to say 450,000 followers, but at the end of the day, there's the one starfish that, or whatever, you know, that is listening, that needed to hear what I had to say today.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's it's a great kind of wrap up. I think I hadn't come up with a New Year's resolution. Actually, I don't typically, usually I'll pick a word for the year or a theme for the
I'll say
year.
those words.
But actually during this recording, my resolution, okay, I'm going to find my Lisa.
Yes.
I'm going to like really figure out who that is and really nurture that person. And I think as I get older, I'm sure it kind of works that way with everybody. You sort of get more comfortable. I'm not seeking validation external to me.
Mhm.
It's, let's seek validation from within. And it is so true. And as a really young adult, you kind of roll your eyes at that and go, oh my God, please shut up.
Well, yeah.
Then you get there and you realize it really is up to me to validate myself. So I'm going to find my Lisa. I
You
think that's
are.
a fantastic New Year's resolution.
And
can
can I
we-
say,
Oh.
please let me interject just right here. And didn't mean to interrupt you. So for everyone listening, and for my amazing SIL, who's my favorite, don't tell the other ones, and my awesome Christina, 92% of New Year's resolutions fail. So what I want everyone to hear me say, please, from this day forward, never use the words, don't even let them come out of your mouth. And at the end of the day, they're just goals anyway. So just changing the word to goals, you're taking out, you've got 8% chance of being like wicked successful, right? So you have a much higher percentage of being successful. And I don't want to see anyone fail with their goals.
Perfect.
Okay.
2023
So Mary, how can we
goals.
find you?
Oh gosh. Okay. So I made this super easy, and this is a great recommendation for anyone who's listening who has an online business. I am Mary Schrank everywhere. I love cats. My dog's name is Max. Okay. So the best thing you can do when you're on lots of social media platforms, which you should be seated everywhere, even if you don't manage your business on the daily, Twitter, YouTube, all these other places. I don't really spend a lot of time there, but my account name everywhere is Mary Schrank. And the other thing to keep in mind is that the reason why it's Mary Schrank and not Coach Mary or Beachbody or any of those things is because I am my brand. We are our brand, Julie, Christine, you guys are your brand. And so Mary Schrank everywhere. Mary Schrank everywhere.
Nice.
With a C in my last name. There's a C in my last name.
Yes, SCHRANK. I know that. I spent a few years spelling that.
Everyone
Thank you,
forgets the C.
Mary.
Thank you.
This is an awesome way to start the year. And yeah, we'll
Thank you.
have a Lisa party soon.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
will.
Thank you so much for having me. And just parting words is my mantra is last half, best half. So my Lisa and I, we are middle-aged. And I just want to encourage everyone that aging doesn't have to suck. So even though it doesn't poo-poo the first half, work really hard to make the last half your best half, live your life to the fullest and enjoy it.
Love that. Words of
Punctuation.
wisdom. That's perfection. Absolutely love
Exclamation
that.
point. Thank you.
Well, we'll have you on again. We'll talk about your book and all of the things, because I feel like we could talk to you for hours and hours, and you've just got so much, you're a wealth of information. But anyway, so we will wrap this up for now. Our first episode of 2023. Mary, thank you so much for being here.
Happy
This
New
is
Year,
the
everyone.
That's What She Pled podcast.
Nice.
You can find us at www.lawpoweredbywomen.com. You've got our personal email addresses there.
Find us.
Y'all know
Find
where
Mary.
to find us. So reach out. I mean, send us an email, good or bad. I mean, we engage with it all. So, all right. Until next time, everybody.
Thanks.